Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Who's ready to crush some goals today? I know I am, and I know y'all are too. Hey, you are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast. Robert Ferriell here, certified 10X coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. So a great episode today. Hey, we're getting toward the holiday season. Hard to believe. We are almost into October, and then, hey, all of a sudden, we're going to be closing out this year. Now, I know this is the time where a lot of folks are making their decisions on, hey, maybe some year-end giving. So I wanted to highlight a couple of nonprofits that are doing some great work in the community. One of those today is Salvation Army. So Envoy Jeff Eddy stopped by to talk, one, about his story and what brought him to the Salvation Army, but then also all the great things that they are doing to impact the folks in our community. So as you're looking at, hey, what do I want to do to give this year? Maybe Salvation Army is part of that. We are coming to you from downtown Springfield in the Big Dog Construction Studio. We just love being down here. The history being right catty-cornered from the old state capitol and right across from the Lincoln Herndon Law Office. We're just really enjoying our time in downtown Springfield, and we are looking forward to great things ahead for what's going on down here. Do want to thank our friends over at Custom Property Solutions. No matter what you need, land-wise, whether it's land clearing, forestry mulching, site prep, landscapes, hardscapes, or anything in between, Brandon and his team are going to take care of you with precision and passion. Give Brandon a shout or head over to CustomPropertySolutionsLLC.com. We have another edition of the Communities Grow Together segment brought to you by David Hilst American Family Insurance Agency over on West Wabash on the west side of town. Hey, anything you need insurance-wise, give them a shout. Home, auto, life, business. Give David and his team a call. They will be able to take care of you. So with that, Jeff Dillman's going to be stopping by, regular contributor to that segment. We're going to talk about a number of upcoming events that we have between Local First Springfield, Land of Lincoln Professional Networking. There is just so much going on. If you think there's nothing to do around here, you're not looking around here. We've got plenty of opportunities for you to get involved with the community and make an impact in your life and the lives of those around you. So, hey, let's get right to Envoy Eddy after the break.
Well, Custom Property Solutions transforms land and outdoor spaces throughout Central Illinois with precision and passion. From clearing overgrown brush to crafting stunning patios and fire pits. Need expert lawn care, excavation, or fence row clearing? They've got you covered, safely, efficiently, and on budget. Fully insured and satisfaction guaranteed. Visit CustomPropertySolutionsLLC.com today, where your land meets their passion. All right, and we are back. Joining me in the studio now, Envoy Jeff Eddy from the Salvation Army. Envoy, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Robert?
I had trouble with the Army part of that.
It's okay.
Hit Envoy.
Some mornings I do too.
Part, right?
I understand.
Yeah. I don't know. So before we start talking about the Salvation Army, I'm on the board there now as well, enjoying my time, helping out and supporting you guys as much as I can. But before we start talking about that, let's learn a little bit more about you. Tell us about Jeff.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Robert. Yeah, it's a different place for me. Nobody's ever asked me that. It's always Salvation Army, so I appreciate that. One of the things about me is I like to fix things. I think that's where the Salvation Army part comes from. Like I think that just a part of who I am. I like to fix. I was talking to Jeff Dillman just a little while ago, standing outside about I like to work on engines. I like to work on watches. I like to. There's nothing that brings me joy more than like taking something that is broken and making it whole again. And so it probably to a fault. And my dad was the type where you put some duct tape on it and make it work. And not me, but it's got to be new parts.
You probably like my neighbors here, my office neighbors. They repair watches.
I was looking through their window while I was waiting on you. Yes.
Yeah, and then up on this floor, they actually have their repair.
I actually
offices.
answered a question for one of their potential customers as they went by.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you really
based
know
on
your
a
stuff
sign
then.
on the window. So,
so what made you get into watches? I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that do the car stuff that want to fix engines and all that stuff. But what drew you to watches?
Well, one of the things about watches. Now, when I say watches, like there's a lot of Apple watches and things like that in this world. Those are cool. I'm a geek, so I like electronics and things like that. But there's nothing quite like wearing a mechanical watch. Like the watches I wear, they're the ones that wind themselves when and they're pretty accurate. It's definitely no Apple Watch, but you got to set it every week or so. But it all started because I had a pocket watch of my great grandfather's, and it was something that my mom talked about when I was younger. She always wanted to get it fixed. So it was this she'd get it out. It's gold filled. It's got his initials on the back. He was a railway train engineer.
Oh, okay.
And so it's the special edition for the train. And there was something specific that they had to carry. And so she would always say, someday I'm going to have the money to get this fixed. But watches are really expensive to get fixed. She passed away about 12 years ago. And at some point I pulled it out of a drawer. I'm like, man, could I do something like this? And of course, I'm not going to dig into my great grandfather's pocket watches. So I go on eBay and I buy one of those, like lots of like broken watches, and I get them in the mail, and I take them apart, and 2 or 3 of them I probably destroyed. They're just old cheapy watches.
Sure,
no big deal. But I got a couple of them working, and that kind of started it. And so then I got in. Pocket watches were easier because they're bigger. And so that got me going. And finally, I ended up, it came down to, it was a significant repair. So I ended up changing the whole mechanism, but it works. And this pocket watch keeps time and everything now. Right. And so things like that get you going. And when you have a success like that, it spurs something. And so then I got into, there's a popular thing on the internet now, if you go into the forums and stuff, when it comes to watches, where people mod watches.
What does that mean?
Kind of exactly what it sounds like.
A modification?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it started mostly with like Seiko watches, and people would buy new dials, faces for them, or new hands, put a different case on them, whatever. And then it just kind of went all over the place. And you can buy every part and every case. And there's several companies in the United States that sell the parts. There's several companies in China that sell the parts. So I'd buy these parts and put them together. And actually, the watch I'm wearing now, another interesting thing about me, my wife, we've been married a little over a year now. She kept watching me put these watches together, and she wanted to do something for our wedding. So she actually ordered the parts, watched me put one together, and put one together on her own. Yeah.
All right.
Like it was this whole thing. She wouldn't let me come in the room. I had no idea what she was doing. And so, like on wedding day, she presents me with this watch that has my name on the face, and it was that she had put together herself. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Do you collect watches too, to a
kind
degree?
Of. That's part of the problem. Like, what do you do with? Like, you can't wear more than one watch. So that's what's hampered my addiction to watch modding. Is that I've got probably 6 or 7 of them, and this is the one I wear every day because my wife made it for me.
There you go. So I've always been a fan of like the American Pickers type shows where you put collectors out there finding stuff, right? You have any stories of, hey, I found this unique, rare piece that I've always wanted or something?
When I first started, I got into the antique watches. Like to really fix a watch, probably like Sangamon watches do. It says on their windows, Swiss trained watchman. I'm not a Swiss trained watchman. Sure. I'm a YouTube trained watchman.
There you go.
And so to get into that, like that takes serious skill. I've tried it and I've never been successful. Like the pocket watches were one thing, but when I started taking apart actual movements to watches and putting them back together, I could get them back together, but they never worked right. So mine is you buy a new movement and you put it,
Gotcha.
Put it in the watch.
So do you have that one watch to where if money wasn't an issue and you could go get anyone you wanted, you have that one in mind?
I don't know, because expensive watches don't really interest me.
Okay.
There's something neat about the Rolex and there's a great story there, those kind of things, but it's overkill.
Right.
To me, it's always just in life in general. I'm always about the underdog. I'm always about the little guy, maybe another Salvation Army thing. I don't know.
Very well could be. Yeah.
I'm the one that always takes the old computer and makes it work good enough to use today type things.
So
There have been a lot of neat designs made in the past in watches. I really like the Seiko made one called the Samurai. That's really cool. It's like $1,000 watch. But I have one that I put together with that case, and it weighs like 10 pounds. Like it feels like you're wearing a machine on your
right.
It's very manly.
So before we get to Salvation Army, tell us a little bit about what you did pre-Salvation Army. What did the career look like pre-Salvation Army?
Yeah, interesting. Lots of things. So when I graduated from high school, I was sure I was going to be a music educator.
Mhm.
That was the direction I was going. Sometime in high school, I changed from playing the clarinet. I was a clarinet player. I hated every moment of it. That was my mom, when we pick out the band instrument, she's like, you can't play a brass instrument. Those are too loud. So, yeah. So if anybody listens and is a clarinet player or knows a clarinet player, they know how wrong she was.
Right.
Because you might not have the volume, but you have all the squeaks. And
You have all the
things.
squeaks. Yeah. I played saxophone growing up.
Oh, yeah. So you understand.
I know
squeaks.
exactly what you're talking about.
And those reeds. Oh, my gosh. I still get a twitch when I think about reeds. So sometime in high school, I switched to brass, French horn, oddly enough. And then by the time I was done, I was like, I really want to be a music teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but that's the way. And that's part of my story, because like all of that led me to meeting a friend. And I went to Parkland College actually to start out in Champaign.
Mm-hmm.
And his father and mother were Salvation Army officers, and he was here. He came to go to the U of I, and so he moved to Champaign. And he's like, hey, we got this band. Salvation Army has bands. It's actually something that we've been known for a lot in the past. Got this band in Champaign. You want to come play in it? And I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll play in a band. And that's what got me into Salvation Army, was playing we call them cornets.
Yeah.
Trumpets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So did you ever become a music teacher?
I didn't. No,
never did.
Nope. I went through the couple years, and actually what I didn't know going into it is to be a music educator. It's pretty much the same program as being a music performance major, just with less recitals.
Right.
Well, I was not a performer. Like I had just switched a couple years before to my instrument, so like I struggled the whole time. So from there, I went into computers, and I did IT for a while. I went back and did a little music for the Salvation Army later. I've always been involved in music in Salvation Army.
Okay. What kind of IT?
Actually, it was for the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
I went around and fixed people's computers and networks and things like that while I was going to school for it.
So did you end up finishing school in this particular discipline or what?
Yeah. And then, and the process of becoming a Salvation Army officer, which I'm not anymore, but I was at the time. And that took me to Chicago and to our training college. And so I spent a couple years there, and then it's been all over the Midwest since then, and landed in Springfield. And from everything I can tell, this is where I'm going to retire. So
there you go. Well, run us through that. What is it? The training to become an officer?
Sure. Well, to understand that, you have to understand where the Salvation Army comes from.
Mm-hmm.
We're faith-based, maybe even more than faith-based. We're actually, the original Salvation Army was an offshoot of the Methodist Church. Our mission statement doesn't say that we're a denomination. It says we're actually a movement, but we're based on the same doctrines and things that you would see in a Methodist church. To go to school for the Salvation Army, it's kind of like half theology and half business. It's a weird mix. I don't think any other church or organization in the world has such a thing. And it's a 2-year intense. We'd transfer after that to Olivet. That's where I went after that. But the 2 years is a very intense. You don't work. You get a little practicum work at Christmas and in the summer. At Christmas, they send you somewhere to do kettles. Everybody knows about kettles.
Yeah.
So they get actually the first year you ring bells. So the first year in training, I was downtown Chicago ringing bells, which that's an experience, They'd pull up with the big van and drop you off, and we'd be dressed to the nine. Like I still have it. Big trench coat, like lawyery trench coat,
right,
that goes on over, and a hat. And it was funny because me and this other guy, another really good cornet player, that's what we did. I'm an introvert. I don't mind talking to people, but I'm more of a ambivert now. But I learned that you could play your horn and people loved it, and you didn't have to talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm. True.
So it was actually Macy's, or Marshall Fields, which is Macy's now. That's where we were stationed most of the time. And we'd start out, and we'd be out there for 8 hours. So as a trumpet player, At the beginning, I was good for about 20 minutes, and then I was done.
Right.
And so what do you do when you're an introvert? So me and this guy had this little shtick where we'd freeze until somebody put money in the kettle. We would say freeze, and whatever position we were in, we had to stay there. And so being all dressed up like this, people would actually think that we were mannequins. And it was so funny because you'd see these groups of people come up and they'd take pictures with us and everything, and nobody would realize that we're real people until they go to leave. And I remember there was this group of teenage girls. It was like 13, 14. There was probably 10 of them together, and they're posing by us and taking selfies and everything. And then they're walking away, and one girl she's like, oh, maybe I should so she puts like a dime in the kettle, and we're like, oh, thank you. And they all just like fall apart. They had no idea that we were mannequins. In fact, you could probably still find a picture of me on the internet if you look far enough, because there were a few people that, because people would just stand there and look at us. And the funny thing is, if you've ever been to Chicago, you've got the people that do things like
that do stuff like that anyway. Yeah.
And there was often a street performer by us that did that. Right. And he would actually stop what he's doing and watch us do it.
Yeah. Because there was the guys up there that would like paint themselves up like a statue. He
was great. Yeah,
and they would stand there. Right. So you're probably down on State Street or something. That Macy's, the main.
It's the main one. Yes. It's the one that was part of the whole thing too, is it was where I assume they still do it. There was the windows. You would go from window and they'd decorate the windows. So we'd be between two of those windows. So they'd stop at this one and they'd stop at these Salvation Army mannequins on the way and take pictures.
So I got to ask, did you ever have any fun when you were doing the mannequin look? Did you ever give somebody a little startle?
I know, right? We were good enough at it that it never happened until the end. Often it would startle them, but it was after it was all over. But thinking back, it probably would have been funny to do it during the picture.
Right, do it a couple. Right. Just would have probably got some really great pictures out of it.
So. Yeah, but by the end of the season, I could almost go the whole 8 hours. I think I was even in the Chicago Times one day because there was this day that it was like 20 below zero wind chill. They made us go out anyway. Like it was hardcore. And I had this hunting hand warmer that somebody had given me, and I'm not a hunter. So I'm a pack rat, and I held on to it, and I pulled it out of storage. I put my horn in it with a hand warmer so that I could play it out. Right. And so I had this camouflage bag over my hand. They actually came out. It was the day I was in front of the building, and they came out and took my picture. So I assume it's somewhere in the paper there.
Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah. So how long has the Salvation Army been around?
Well, in the world since 1865, technically. Yeah. Okay. There was a little Salvation Army before that, but it didn't become the Salvation Army until 1865. And the whole thing about it was our founder, William Booth, really neat. If you ever like want to go down a rabbit hole, start looking up history of Salvation Army. In fact, we just remembered his death recently. There was like 10,000 people at his funeral.
Really?
Which is significant for like 1913 or whatever it was, because there wasn't internet. So I don't even know how all these people even knew that this happened.
Right.
But that's how impactful this man was. And it all started, he was a pawnbroker in London, and he was training to be a minister, and he became a Methodist minister, and he goes into the church, and what he finds is, especially in the day, and it wasn't just a Methodist thing, it was a church in general, you paid for your spot in the church. And so he's like, well, there's all these other people that need this too. And so he would start inviting them, and that caused all kinds of issues. And there's a story, he got kicked out. So then he went, and from there, it was really interesting. He started using bars. So Sunday mornings, bars aren't open. Mm-hmm. So he would actually like rent out these bars on Sunday mornings. Another interesting thing, he would take the music that they were singing the night before, put Christian lyrics with it so that everybody knew.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, okay.
Our whole songbook now, which we don't use much anymore because you use projection screens, but it's all based on that. It actually has this formula that you can find out what tunes that you open it up and there's not even music in it. Like it's all set up like that.
Wow.
So then he went to that, and then there was this whole thing about they had the skeleton army formed because he was taking business. Like as people's lives were changing through this, he focused on poor and poverty and addiction and things like that. And so as he was taking these people and actually making them part of the mission, it was changing and taking their business away. So then they kick him out of the bars.
Right.
And then the skeleton army, it's all on the internet, you can find it, comes after him. And I mean, they're throwing tomatoes and rotten stuff at him and trying to get him to stop. This started 1865, and in 1888, it's in Springfield, Illinois. That's how fast.
That's how quick it will. Okay.
Yeah.
Like just a little over 20 years old, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
And made it all the way from like New York, like to here. So.
And things didn't spread as fast
No.
back then like they do now. Like you said,
Right.
there was no internet to push it
Right.
around so quickly, right?
And he didn't say, "Hey, I'm going to give you $200,000 a year to go start the Salvation Army in Springfield, Illinois."
Right.
It was people. It was passion. It was people that wanted to, and that's where social work came from. And the idea that his whole thing was soup, soap, and salvation. You can't bring people to this church thing without giving them their physical needs as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was about feeding people and making sure that they had what they need, and then bringing the gospel to them.
So was there a structure to it back then, or was it just people that were, hey, I'm going to go start the Springfield chapter here, and then I'm going to call myself the Salvation Army?
I'm sure
what did
it was
that look like back then?
Yeah, I'm sure it was a lot looser then than it is now. We're very structured now, but that was the point of the military. That was the Salvation Army, like the uniform. You had commanders. He was named the general of the Salvation Army, and he made officers and soldiers, and so there was a system, and I'm sure there was a training system involved too. At some point, training colleges came about. That's like the one in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's been there over 100 years.
Wow.
It's by Wrigley Field, actually. So I get to live 2 years across from Wrigley Field.
Oh, there you go.
Which is a pretty neat, yeah.
Well, are you a Cubs fan at least, or no?
I was more of a White Sox fan. I went to one Cubs game while I was there, and you've got to really like baseball to enjoy a Cubs game. Like they don't, White Sox, it's like the shoes here. You got the fun things between the innings and things. Not the Cubs. You enjoy your hot dog that was wrapped in tinfoil.
Right. Old school baseball there.
Yeah,
right?
old school, yeah. So I went to one game while I was there just because I couldn't not, since I lived too.
Oh, yeah, so close. You got to take it in some. So I was always a White Sox fan growing up too. I was never a Cubs fan. I was always a Southsider fan.
Right
up there.
Again, it's kind of the underdog though for me.
Absolutely. What year did you make it into Springfield?
2018.
Okay. And what brought you here? What was that process look like?
So that I was still an officer at the time, and the way the officer process works, it's really interesting. It started out for me in Maryville, Indiana. Every year they would have something they called Congress commissioning. We still have it. It's just not, last year was in Milwaukee. But when your training culminated, the last weekend of it, you go here, you spend the whole weekend. It's fun, concerts, all of this. And then Sunday morning, you do the church thing, you become an officer. Sunday afternoon, they bring you all back and they walk you across the stage one at a time. There's 4,000 people sitting in front of you. They walk you across the stage like, Jeff, you're going to, and that's how you find out where you're going to live in 2 weeks. For me, it was Cadillac, Michigan. Beautiful town, just in the middle of nowhere. There's probably people who listen to this podcast that have at least driven through Cadillac to get to Traverse City, Michigan.
I got to ask, in that process, are you guys all sitting there and there's like 5 of them that you're like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
That's where I want to go. I want to go there.
Even more so. So each year, and that's where it goes from there. Each year, the Salvation Army, as people retire, as people quit, as people say, well, I can't do this anymore, they have to put another officer in the place. So it shuffles everybody. And so by that time, they'd already shuffled everybody and there was these holes. So like there's 20 of us, there's 20 holes. This is where we're going. So the whole game was like, this is where Jeff's going. This is where Bob's going. This is where, and so mine was completely wrong. I remember I was like, Cadillac. Where's Cadillac? Do they make cars there? They don't. Never did.
Right. No, I just, in my mind, I picture like the NFL draft or something where you guys are all sitting there and it's like, oh yeah, you get to go to Miami and
a lot less money involved.
Jeff, you're going to Cleveland to the Browns that are terrible.
I know.
Type of thing. It's just struck me.
I loved Cadillac. There was bears there. We had black bears.
Okay.
I never actually saw one, but my neighbor had a picture of one in front of our house. So they were around. But it was neat. A lot of winter. 35 inches of snow each year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be my gig. I don't like that. I don't like snow at all.
Yeah, it was very interesting and an interesting time. It was around 2007 and the market crash and housing. Four Winds Boats was there, which you still see Four Winds Boats, but I don't think the company exists anymore. It closed down while we were there, or it doesn't exist, at least how it did. Yeah, so it was a tough time. A lot of the people that we worked with were losing houses and things like that. From there, I went to Mattoon, Illinois. We all know where that's at.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it. It was a great community. And then after that, I got a really unique experience. I went to Detroit, Michigan, and not to do what I have done all the rest of the times as an officer. I got to oversee kids work for the Salvation Army. So everything that happened on that side of Michigan, from day camps, after school, those kind of things, to camp. I'd spend my whole summer at camp. We had a camp in Oxford, Michigan, and that was a really, really cool experience. So I'll always cherish that. And then here, Springfield.
There you
It
go.
was another call. Actually, it wasn't a call. It was my boss pulling me to the side and say, "Hey, just so you know."
Right. Yeah, because that's the whole point of
What?
it. Yeah, you're getting moved around. You probably don't have a ton of say in that, right?
No,
And so
no.
it's just this is where you're getting placed at this point, right? So
Because of the system and because of life, I got married a little over a year with June of last year. My wife is a school teacher. She's not a Salvation Army officer. She is a soldier now, but she's not a Salvation Army officer. And what that means is that I can't be a Salvation Army officer, and that's okay. She owns a house here in Springfield, and so this is where we're going to be. That's why they call me Envoy now. I'm a non-commissioned officer.
your duties are essentially
Yeah.
the same. It's
all
just
the
a
same.
different title, right?
I'm not an ordained minister anymore.
Sure.
I still do the job, but yeah, I can't legally marry anybody.
Right.
So
Okay. All
I
right.
got to do every once in a while.
That'd be fun.
It was, yeah. It's
Yeah.
neat to be part of somebody's life in that way.
All right. Well, let's dig into what all happens in that big building over there that you guys have.
I know.
So I know there's a lot of great things that happen, and I want to be able to make sure the audience knows about them. So start walking us through some of the services you guys offer at Salvation Army.
Sure. It is very exciting. What's really exciting is there's an untapped potential in that place. I have all kinds of dreams. I think a lot of us have all kinds of, that's part of you being on the board. You do it because you have dreams.
Right.
And right now it's a lot of the basic human services. We have the food pantry. That we get hit so hard on food pantry. We've had it for as long as I can even see. I don't know when we started it in Springfield, 50, 75 years, but we have been like since COVID, and since, if you've been to the grocery store recently, you see how it could be very tough for people who are struggling.
Mhm.
And so we've been hit really hard. And a typical day in the pantry, we have a minimum 40 families. And so a family can be anywhere from 2 to 10.
Mhm.
We probably average 4 or 5 people.
That's a lot
in
of
each
people
family.
coming
so
through.
yeah, you're talking hundreds of people every
Yeah.
day coming through that are getting 3 days worth of food. It's significant because we also have to come up with that food. That's why I appreciate doing things like this.
Absolutely.
We need help with that. It's an essential thing. There are quite a few food pantries in town, but every one of them is needed. Like, I don't think something like that is oversaturated, or like people are going to get what they need. And it's about, there's this concept in social work about food deserts. Can you get to the food that's available?
Right.
Do you have the transportation? Do you have the money for gas to get all the way? So I think it's necessary to have all these pantries and all these micro pantries and things that we have. It's not overkill by any means, but what it does mean is that it means a lot of competition for raising food
for donations and everything. Absolutely.
And we use like Central Illinois Food Bank, but even those methods still cost money. So
if somebody wanted to donate food, not money, what kind of food would they donate to you?
So the best thing is non-perishables. The cans of green beans, corn, standards. It's nice to have perishables, but it's harder unless somebody's going to a non-perishable. You can go to your cupboard and, I haven't eaten those green beans. I'll take those in. You can't really go to your refrigerator and like, I haven't drank that milk. It's probably bad now. So we'd love to have the fresh foods, and we do as much as possible, but it's harder to obtain the fresh foods because of that.
Oh, absolutely.
So non-perishables, box meals, spaghetti, rice, those kind of things. That what's really helpful are things that are easy to open, because not everybody has a can opener.
Right.
And some of the people we serve, they don't have a place to live, or they're on somebody's couch or whatever. It's asking a lot, but if you're going to the store and you to buy food for a food pantry or Salvation Army, if you can find those things that you can open without a can opener,
it's find wonderful. The cans that have the little pop tops on there and everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
The same way with like personal hygiene items. That's a huge thing. They're expensive, and when you're experiencing poverty, that's one of the last things that you buy. You buy the food, you buy the necessities, and then you worry about that stuff.
Right.
So things like toothpaste and stuff like that is super helpful. Even if, we get the people every once in a while that I don't know if when you go to a hotel, if you take all the extra,
right.
I think that's why there are all the bottles now that you like the pumps instead of the little bottles. But, people would bring in bags of those, and it was super helpful, or the little toothpaste or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to have. So we have that food pantry. People are eligible once a calendar month. So if the last week of the month they need food, and the first week of the next month they can come twice like that. We're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right now, 9 to 3:30. We have a clinic in partnership with SIU Medicine. They're open on Wednesdays. The doctor there, Dr. Cami Harless, is fantastic. She's a family doctor. Well, she specializes in youth. That's her thing. And I was just talking to one of the nurses last week. They have the resources to be able to help people get on the Medicaid and things like that. So you can come without any insurance, and they will see you, and they will help get you in the process to get you what you need. They're very passionate about people experiencing homelessness. It's a really neat program, and I really hope that we can expand on it at some
Yeah,
point.
I think that would surprise people. They might not realize that you have a
Yeah.
clinic in there, you know?
Well, when we set it up with SIU, part of the whole theory behind it was there's a lot of people that have a hard time going to medical clinics. Like it's either maybe it's kind of like the food desert thing, it's far away, or bad experience in the but this is a place where they already go and they're comfortable. So
Mhm.
why not? It's kind of an experiment. I think it's working. It's always been difficult, just like situation and COVID and things like that. But it's working, and I think it's a really good resource to the community. So I hope that SIU deems it worthy to continue for sure.
Absolutely. Let's continue our walk
Yep.
around the building. What else we got there?
Right. So the next department is we call it supportive services for veteran families, and they are concerned completely with veteran homelessness. If you look through the homeless population in Springfield, you're not going to find a lot of veterans, and the ones that you do, they're going to be people that have been in our program, that are in our program, that are between houses, and they're working with them to get them back in. It's a neat program, and that whole supportive housing thing, I'm really sold on. We need shelters. We absolutely need shelters, but it's not a band-aid fix for a bigger problem. And the supportive housing is really a good answer. And our continuum of care here is they have Heartland House now. They're doing a great job of getting this going.
Mm.
But it's an expensive, hard program. However, it's an expensive program, but what it saves the community is unmeasurable. It costs us so much as a community to have people experiencing homelessness because everything everything about being poor, everything about being homeless is super expensive. Like you pay double for everything. And when you go to the hospital, you go to the emergency room, you take an ambulance, like it's expensive. And so when we can get people in these programs, it really benefits not just the person, it's really benefiting the entire community. And that's what our people in veteran services do. So it's based on the housing first model where instead of going to a shelter, you put somebody directly into housing. So they work with landlords and stuff, and they've got apartments around town that they work with. They get somebody in there, but then that's where the supportive housing, because there's also bed rehousing. That's just it's good. It gets people in, but then this is supportive housing for the next 9 months. They get intense case management in there to make sure that they have every shot possible of being successful. Is everybody successful? No.
Right.
But eventually I think most people are. It might take them a couple times through the system, but they are. And it's really it's a great program, and I laud those people because it's went a long ways, I think, to show us in Springfield how this supportive housing can work. So and prove that it's a viable program. So, nothing against shelters. We need shelters, but we need long-term fixes like this.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And it's hard for people because it's an expensive program, but in the long run, it's really not. It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. We had the Sangamon County Veterans Assistance Commission on a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about how they had worked together with you guys on some things too. So doing some great work.
Yeah, absolutely. So then going from there, we have some classrooms. We have in the past done after school and day camp. We lost a grant last year that helped us with after school. So we're in the process of figuring that out. But we were working directly with Grant School. It's not very far away. It was a wonderful program working with STEM, kind of my thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
The geek in me. Can we 3D print anything?
There you go.
That'll happen again. We got to figure out how. That we're looking for, people to come alongside. We're looking for funding, things like that. But we're really in a good place for that physically.
Oh yeah, you definitely are.
We're close to the schools. We're close to the people that need it. There's a big equity thing there that we can meet, and we're going to do it. We just got to figure out how. So we got all that. We got those classrooms. They also do things like life skills classes. Veterans do a class once a week in there. We do NACA, AA, things like that. We have in that hallway another significant program the Salvation Army does is emergency disaster services. And that is a Springfield thing, but it's also a worldwide thing, which I think is important for a couple of reasons. One, we're helping other people, but I think it's important to us in Springfield because it's a worldwide network. So when something happens here in Springfield, it doesn't have to just be Springfield team responding. People come from Indianapolis, from St. Louis, from Chicago. There's all these resources everywhere that we come together and do this thing. There's people probably listening that have seen us in action in those things, like the Sherman tornado, things like that. So but we do deploy people. The last hurricane, we had people in Florida and North Carolina. We'll keep doing that. It's a fun way to get involved. if somebody wants to be a disaster team member. There's training involved and things like that, but you can actually be part of that and be deployed. It's not terribly difficult. It takes some time. Yeah, it's a great program. We do a lot of parades, which is actually in FEMA's thing. It's a function of disaster services, is doing things like parades.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I didn't realize that.
No, yeah. I went through like the incident command system. FEMA, there's all these classes you can take, and some of them I've taken, and that designates that as, it's a function of disaster services, is parades and events like the Democratic and Republican national conventions. We were at both. We're outside passing out water. So
There's so much.
Yeah,
so much
all
stuff.
over the place. Yeah. And people were deployed to that from here in Springfield.
So anything else go on in the building?
Well, we're halfway through the first floor.
I was going to say, we're only a little bit of the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things that we do in partnership, especially with Greater All Nations Tabernacle. We do a senior lunch program. They put it on once a month in our building. That's a great program. We do Meals on Wheels. That's their program that they do in our building. And then you go upstairs and we have the gyms. That's where a lot of people know us. If you're in sports at all, you've probably played a sport in our gym. We're very blessed with that. And trying to figure out how to do that and balance mission and making enough money on the gym to be able to fund the mission and fund the after school program. That's something we're going through right now.
So all that stuff that we just talked about costs money. It's all very expensive.
It does, right? It does.
We've got some big events coming up here, some fundraising and different things. Holiday season is very big for Salvation Army. So talk to us about what's going on over the next couple of months.
The Christmas season is our fundraising season for a couple of reasons. I think historically it has been, and people know that of us. They know the kettles, but also people are just more generous at Christmas. We start thinking about other people more when Christmas rolls around. For us, it's kicking off November 15th at White Oaks Mall. White Oaks has been very good to us. Mitch is on our board.
Shout out to Mitch out there.
Yeah, he's been very, very active. We did this kickoff at the mall for years, and somewhere around COVID, it's kind of fell apart. I don't know. We did it at Shields for a couple of years, so we went back to the mall, and that's where we're doing it. We've got the Capitol Big Band playing for an hour with us. We'll have crafts and just time to tell people the story about the Salvation Army. So 15th from 10 to 2. If somebody comes by the mall, they can be part of that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day.
Hot chocolate bar.
Absolutely. And going to have the kettles out after that, right?
Yeah. So a lot of them, we'll start after that. You'll start seeing them at grocery stores, especially before Thanksgiving. Something that we run into recently with kettles is just restrictions corporately. So all of the corporate stores, a lot of them, we feel very fortunate that we can still do them, because there's a lot of different organizations out there fighting for that space and the ability to ask money. So the fact that they let us come back is significant. But it puts restrictions on us, and one of those restrictions often is after Thanksgiving. So that's when you really start to see the kettles. It puts us in a bigger push between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's a shorter time.
Right.
It used to be that if you're listening to this and you're over, 25 years old, you probably remember a time when we were going out November 1st and we were all at all the stores. And I remember doing it because they were like, why are you out so early? Come out early every year. It's not like that anymore. It's after Thanksgiving now. You'll see them out. We really, really need volunteers. Registertoring.org is where you can sign up. It's really a neat system because you can pick out your place and your time. So that'll be up. I'm planning by the end of October.
Where was that one more time?
Registertoring.org.
So is there any prep work somebody has to do? Somebody goes to that website. They say, hey, I can do this. Then what's next?
Sure. They get reminders on their phone. The most important thing that I want to impress on people is that it's important that you communicate if you can't be there. Some of these places are significant amounts of money. We really rely on the money that come from these places. And it's this rub that I have because I really, really appreciate the volunteers. But sometimes people don't take it seriously enough to think, oh, well, I'm a volunteer. I'm not going to go that day.
Right.
When that happens, sometimes we lose out on hundreds of dollars. And so it's not that I say you have to be there, but if you can communicate, be ready when you take the time to be able to send an email or if you can't be there, just let me know so that we can get somebody else there. And so we don't lose that money.
Yeah. You lose that money. And then the downstream effects of that is somebody doesn't get the food that they needed, or somebody doesn't get the
Exactly.
support that they needed, right? So
And I totally get it. As a volunteer and you're a volunteer, you don't have to show up, but it helps us a lot if you communicate that.
And you've changed some of the ways the kettles work too, right? We've done kind of cardboard cutouts. We've done some different
Right.
ways to give and things like that outside of just the traditional
Yeah.
walk out of the store and dump some money in the kettle.
Right. Yeah. It hasn't taken off really great yet. Actually, it has. If you look at us, like all over Illinois, we've done really well in Springfield at this. Second only to Chicago. Chicago just like kills us every time, but they should, because
They
it's
should.
like
There's
10 times the size.
Yeah, there's tons of people up there compared to us.
Right. But it's the online kettles. I have a bit.ly link set up. It's bit.ly.com/ring from home is our kettle. It's not updated yet. It's still be last year's kettle. So don't sign up just yet, but it'll be updated soon. And it's a neat program because you literally can do that. You can ring from home. And what I would really like to see, what would be really helpful, is if we got people like offices involved or businesses involved, classes at the school, whatever it is. Like your class takes on this kettle and you push it out, and you know, you can even compete with the other classes or other departments. It's so helpful. We made about $12,000 in that last year, which it's definitely significant.
Yeah, that's a significant sum of money. Absolutely.
Our traditional kettles, we made 90,000, which is significant because it was about 20 more than the year before. The problem is, before COVID, we were making 200,000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this year I'm raising the goal another, 25. Made 25% more last year. I think we can do it again this year, but it takes those volunteers and things.
Yeah. So do you think the decrease compared to pre-COVID, is that just a function of people aren't carrying cash as much there? Just the giving is being spread a little bit more?
It's a lot of things. One, a big change in our society. So we've always had volunteers, but we didn't have a lot of them. And so one of the programs we still kind of do, it's just not as impactful anymore, is that we would actually hire people to do this. And it was really a ministry for us. It was often people that wouldn't have jobs the rest of the year or job training. And so it gave us the opportunity. It was a minimum wage job. We'd hire these people. It's a hard job. If you've ever volunteered, you know how hard it is. But the whole point of it was, stand out in front of that store, do your job, speak to the customers. These managers are going to see this. And then afterwards, we can go to these managers and there's a good chance that you'll get a job doing something at that store. So I really used that as a service, and it gives them some money. When they have that money, then we're not helping them with other things like we normally have to. The problem is that was very lucrative in 2019 when minimum wage was $8.25 an hour.
Sure.
Well, now minimum wage is $15 an hour.
Right.
And so it literally costs twice as much to do it now.
Yeah, the math doesn't work out as easily with that. So.
And some places it works, but even $15 an hour, if you hire people, that's not even really a Springfield minimum wage in a lot of ways. Like if you go to a fast food restaurant, most of them start at least 16.
There's some of 16, 17, 18. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, and again, it's a hard job. So it's made it very difficult, and that's why I think it's critical that we really get volunteers going with this. That was something that we did in the past. It was wonderful, but it's something that's just not as viable anymore. So we'll still have some of those people that they do well, and we'll have them out in the places that make the couple $100 an hour. It's worth it, but not every place is like that.
So you've talked about service, or anything. You guys are a serving organization, right? So what are some ways over the years that any strategies you've used to help people learn to serve, but to ensure people have that heart of service and are giving that to the clients?
Actually, that's a pretty easy question to answer. What it takes is doing it. You don't realize what other people are living until you see what they're living through. You don't understand what it's like to be in a place where you're experiencing homelessness until you've worked with people experiencing homelessness. You don't understand what it's like to be hungry until you've worked with people that are hungry. And so that's really the first thing. You don't have to become a priest or just commit this to go and feeding this year, to ringing a bell, to working in a food pantry where you get that experience. Thanksgiving, we're doing a feeding program. We're looking for volunteers. 3 places. One, we're going to have it in our building where we have our board meetings. We're going to have on site for people that don't have a place to go. But we're also going to take that emergency disaster vehicle we have. We go out to encampments and take food to people who are experiencing homelessness. And then the plan is to take to senior high rise as well. It's a good time to get involved. You get to be with people who are experiencing this, and it changes you when you serve people. It changes you. And so I think that's definitely a first step.
No doubt about it. If somebody wanted to get involved with that, where would they go?
Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best place. We try to keep all that up on Facebook. Our website is it's mostly me that keeps it up, and I think the whole format's changing, so I don't want to. Please go to our website, but that may not be the place to find out about Thanksgiving meal. But Facebook, we're pretty good at. Amber is on our board, is the one that's been taking care of it, and she does a fantastic job.
So Jeff, what are some ways you elevate your life personally?
Well, definitely that whole fixing thing. So serving people elevates me. I also have a couple kids feeding into their, and that's an interesting thing. Anybody that has kids, you realize at some point how important it is to be a parent. And so if anything were to elevate me the most, it would be being a father. I've got one kid that's a senior in high school. She's about to fly away, and another one that's now a freshman in high school. And so it's becoming a reality that these are adults to be, and so just the weight and the honor it is to be able to help these two people be successful adults.
Right.
That elevates me.
Absolutely. I know you work with a lot of community organizations. You serve a lot of people. Is there anything we could all do community-wide to help elevate Springfield and all the surrounding areas as a group?
Sure. There's so much division and things in this world. I don't want to get political at all, but I think a big part of it is really understanding where other people are coming from. That's part of serving. You don't see the need to serve until you can walk a mile in somebody's shoes. And so I think just our world in general, that's something that we need, but especially in Springfield, we see a lot of division here. If we could start to learn where the other people are coming from, the people that we consider enemies, and walk a mile in their shoes, I think we would be a much better community.
No doubt about it. Jeff, give us the info again on all the upcoming things, the dates for the kettle drive, and the whole thing.
All right, so the Thanksgiving dinner is on Thanksgiving Day. It starts at noon. We're trying to make it just a couple hour thing, so we're gonna let a lot of people involved. We're gonna get it done, get everybody fed. The kickoff is November 15th at White Oaks Mall, 10 to 2. Kettles will start about the same time, right about there. You'll see them at grocery stores. You can go to register to ring and sign up for your space, get it reserved. They go fast, especially the good ones. Some of the best ones are like the Schnucks on Montvale. People love that. It's indoors. I shouldn't say it. Yeah, everybody's going to go to that one now. Right. So I just upped the competition. Shields is a fantastic place to ring. The Walmarts are good. Sam's is a lot of fun. You're going to talk to a lot of people if you're at Sam's. So that's a good way to show too, if you're a business owner or anything like that, like show yourself giving back to the community in that way. So that'll start about then with the grocery stores. And then after Thanksgiving, it'll be that. We've got Angel Tree coming up. So we'll be passing out gifts to families. Their signups are already going on now. The actual event happens on December 20th. Where you can get involved in that is to take actual angels. So when a parent comes in to sign up their kid, we give the kid a number so that it's either anonymous. And then say my kid wants this doll and this a stocking hat and these kind of things, and we write it on the angel tag, and businesses will display them and people will take them. And I know like Shields, I just heard today they're taking 100 of them. There's a couple of the State Farm agents that are taking some, so they'll be all over town. So you can grab those. Should be at Walmart's. We have a national contract that we do that. So hopefully you'll see them at Walmart's too, but I haven't talked to the managers yet. But they'll be all over town. That's a way you can get involved. It doesn't have to be a fortune. You can take one kid and buy the stuff along with your kids, whatever you can do.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, I normally close with this. I normally ask for a piece of advice from the personal side and the professional side, but I'd like to do something a little bit different today. It's getting toward the holidays. People are deciding how they want to do some year-end giving, right?
Yeah.
Really tell us the impact that Salvation Army makes on our community. When people are making decisions, why Salvation Army?
Sure. Well, I think one of the biggest things that we should consider when supporting the Salvation Army is just the fact that we've been here since 1888. And what that has meant to the community since 1880. We've had shelters. We've always been able to step up for what the community needs. And that's what you're supporting going forward. Right now, it's the food pantry, it's veteran services, it's things like that. But what is it going to be tomorrow? We don't even know that yet. And I think it's important to us as a community. And this is not me as the Salvation Army. This is me as somebody who loves the Salvation Army. We need to make sure the Salvation Army is here. And that we're funded properly for that when it happens. We need kids programs. That's part of that cycle of poverty. Once you get into that, it's hard to get out. But when we can work with kids, it gives them a better shot at a future. So we need to be doing that. And so that's a great place to invest money in our community.
Absolutely. Envoy Eddy, appreciate you spending some time.
I appreciate you having me on. I took the whole time, too.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. So you guys do phenomenal work. Proud to be part of it.
Proud to
help
have
out
you.
however I can.
Yeah.
So, well, we're going to let Envoy Eddy get back to elevating Springfield. But for the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at sangamontreeservice.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.
All right. How about Envoy Eddy? Really cool story. Hey, did you know all that stuff about the Salvation Army, how that started? I sure didn't. It was pretty cool to learn a little bit more about the beginnings of the Salvation Army and how it proceeded to today. I thought it was pretty cool that Springfield, only 20 short years after the beginning of the Salvation Army, we had a chapter right here in Springfield. And like we talked with Envoy Eddy back then, stuff didn't grow as quickly because you couldn't spread the word as quickly. So I thought that was pretty cool that we had one just a short 20 some odd years after the beginning of the Salvation Army over on the East Coast. So pretty cool. So as you can imagine, when you're talking about the nonprofits, most of the time we're talking about service, right? And we talk about service a lot on this show because it is important. It is critical no matter what you do, no matter what industry you are in, no matter what business you have, no matter what your occupation is. If you are the owner or a frontline employee, it does not matter. We all serve. We all perform customer service duties, and we all must have a servant's heart for our clients, our customers, and really for our community and, of course, our families as well, because the folks that really serve, the ones that have that servant's heart, are the ones that can truly make an impact on their clients, their families, and the people around them. So where are you serving right now? Envoy Eddy talked about the many different ways that you could serve with Salvation Army, from serving food, from donating, to bell ringing, to all these different things, or the disaster recovery efforts, things like that. So many different opportunities. Maybe Salvation Army is a perfect opportunity for you to start serving outside of your business or serving outside of your personal life. Or maybe it's not. Maybe there's somewhere else. But the point is, find somewhere to serve. We spend a lot of time talking on the show how we can best serve our clients, how we can best serve our families, the people that are close to us. But how, too, can we go out and serve people that we don't even know? Like Envoy Eddy was talking about, the people that they're serving there, they may not know all of them personally. They serve hundreds of people every day just in their food pantry alone. So where could you go today, tomorrow, the next day to serve? Not as part of your business, not as part of your family, something completely separate. Now, I'd recommend bringing your family along. Make a go of it with everybody. Bring everybody along for that service, because as Envoy Eddy mentioned and as he talked about, is when you serve, it changes you. There's something about service that changes your heart. Of course, you are helping others, but you're helping yourself too. So if we all did our part, if we all served a little bit outside of ourselves, we could certainly continue to elevate Springfield. Because that's the whole point of this podcast, y'all. Hey, we're elevating our own lives. We're elevating our businesses so that we can elevate our community. And when we are elevating ourselves, elevating our businesses, and then serving to help elevate others, that is just going to make that community elevation come even quicker. So, hey, find your place, find your niche, find that way to serve, and show that servant's heart, y'all. Let's show it all for all of us here in Springfield to have our servant's heart. Maybe Salvation Army is that place you serve. We're going to be right back after the break with Jeff Dillman for the Communities Grow Together segment. Looking for personalized insurance with hometown care? David Hilst American Family Insurance Agent is here to help you protect what matters most: your family, your home, and your dreams. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, David and his team are proud to serve the Springfield community with trusted advice and reliable coverage. Local service, real relationships, peace of mind. Call today or stop by their office. They can build your dream protection plan together. Call 217-726-6343. All right, and we are back. Thanks again to Envoy Eddy for spending some time with us. Now is another edition of the Communities Grow Together segment, brought to you by the David Hilst American Family Insurance Agency over on West Wabash. Hey, anything you need insurance-wise, whether that's home, auto, life, business, David and his team are going to take care of you. Give them a shout. One of our regular contributors for this segment, Mr. Jeff Dillman from Land Lincoln Professional Networking Group and Masco. Jeff, good to see you as always. How we doing?
Hey, good to see you. I was a little concerned. Wasn't sure I was going to have enough time to get on here.
We had a little fun with Envoy, didn't we?
Yeah.
We got all the stuff.
I mean, I always say that I admire Envoy Eddy, and you just learn a lot more things about, the organization, the Salvation Army, and as well as him personally.
Right.
But I was sweating a little bit. I wasn't sure I was going to have much time.
Well, I got to say, those Jeffs know how to talk, right?
Oh, you're not kidding.
And I got 2 of them in one day.
That's right. You probably could handle 3.
No, I don't think so. Might be here all night. So, well, we got a few things to talk about today, Jeff. Got a lot of really cool events, some collaboration that we're doing that we've talked about from the associations. But first of which, last week we had our Local First Springfield annual meeting and fall social over at Jane Hay Sales and Staging. And you and I were both there, of course. And what did you think of the event?
Hey, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad Land Lincoln Professional Networking sponsored it as well. But it's really cool when you get locally owned business people together, and they're all there for the same reason: grow their business, support the community. The facility, Jane Hay knocked it out. It's beautiful. It was just nice to have conversation and just see familiar faces and some new faces. We can see with Local First Springfield, it's growing, and we're going to be 100 strong, right? Within
no doubt
so
about
many
it.
days. That's a lot to thank to your leadership too, and I'm glad to be part of that team as well. I'm not sure I really had a choice, but I'm glad to be part of that. So
no, like you said, we had some new faces there because we've had a lot of new members recently, and a couple of nights before the event, we had a few more new ones, and all 3 of them showed up. So it was cool to see them and having them get involved right away. And I think one of the really cool things as well is people that are joining they're wanting to step up and get involved. They're wanting to be a part of everything, right? Because I think that's the energy that we've created with it.
It's the excitement. People are seeing, they're seeing the fires lit. I mean, and shout out to Nelson's. They did a fabulous job that night.
Phenomenal job.
I was eating those bacon wrapped, I thought was Smokies. They were dates, and I really didn't know I liked dates until then. But
those are really good. I
had a lot of dates.
Yeah, I like the bacon wrapped dates. I mean, I don't eat them now, but in my time, I liked those better than the bacon wrapped Smokies.
Well, don't worry, I ate enough for you. And the funny thing was, when she came up to me, she said, "Well, did you like them?" I said, "Yeah, I really did." I said they were really good. And when she told me they were dates, I never read it. I didn't even know. I liked dates.
Right.
So she said I had a lot of dates. I had a lot of dates, but
slightly healthier than the little Smokies too, right?
Right. But no, a good program. Thank you for putting that on and putting it together. And thanks for your leadership.
Thanks for your help.
Strong board. So it's nice to see the strength in that, in that room when we meet. There's the young generations, we call the young entrepreneurs, are really, really focused on growing their business and growing together and, getting out in the community.
No doubt about it. We had Seeger Schmansky there that night with some music. So he did a phenomenal job. That guy's got a voice, doesn't he?
That guy was good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was thinking about The Voice, American Idol. He was spot on.
Yeah.
I would hire him in a heartbeat. Just good.
Yeah.
Really good.
No doubt about it. Yeah, we would highly recommend him. Any kind of event that you have where you want that not overpowering music in the background, but really phenomenal music.
Really
he's the one. He's the guy.
Yeah, he's really good. I even went up and told him that as well. It's like, wow. I think, but did Amber Amber probably got that arranged.
Yeah, absolutely. Amber Krager from the Growth Alliance. She
Yep.
got that set up for us, and great choice there.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
good night.
I know you can find him on Facebook and everything. Reach out to him if you have any events. I'm sure he'd be up for doing that for you.
Yeah.
So overall, great night. We've got a lot of fun things to come for Local First. Our next event is actually a collaboration with Land Lincoln Professional Networking Group, right? Next month. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and we should include, too, the FBI Springfield Citizens Academy alumni.
We've teased this a little bit for probably about a month and a half. We just never told anybody what it actually was, but now we can actually say what it is.
People were listening, right?
Yeah.
So, no, it's kind of a cool thing is with Land and Lincoln Professional Networking, as we know, we really didn't know how that was going to work out, and look at it, it's just blown away. 87, almost 90 businesses now. So we thought between that and Local First Springfield, because communities grow together, we're collaborating together, and with the FBI Citizens Academy, Springfield Citizens Academy alumni, we wanted to showcase what good the FBI is doing in our community. We hear so much on the media side, we're not really hearing what's going on. They do a lot for our community. And when they approached me about it, sitting on the board, which we're not affiliated with the FBI, we're a nonprofit on the board, but they said, hey, you know what? You got an audience. Why don't we just take it to your group? And if you want to include Local First Springfield, let's do it. So here we are. So we're excited to say October 15th.
Yes, indeed.
4 to 4:30. We're going to have a special agent from the FBI, Springfield FBI office here, educating us on general fraud and with business. And I think with all the local business owners, you could see the excitement from Local First Springfield to our group, Land and Lincoln. They want to know what's going on. So it's going to be interesting to see, what he can say in 30 minutes and what you're going to learn in 30 minutes and probably be blown away.
And this is a members-only event, right? So this is members only for Local First Springfield and Land and Lincoln Professional Networking, because I want people to be confused. Last week, our event at Local First was more of an open event for people that were interested, but this one is a members-only event in either group.
Right. And then our challenge will be after the presentation's done is, how do we network?
Right.
How do we get into our table form? I think you and I still have to talk about. We'll have to figure that out. But either way, we'll be there. We're excited about it. It's another just a way to show the community that we are different, but we're working together for the same purpose, and that is to make communities grow together, right? As you always say. So I'm excited with the partnership, and I see us doing, probably more things like that as well.
Yeah, I do too.
We want to make educational things that make sense. Excited for it.
Yeah, no, like we talk about actionable strategies here on the podcast. Those are going to be some actionable strategies that he's going to go over that day.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned the Citizens Academy. So tell everybody what that is if they don't know what that is.
Yeah, so that's something cool. I really didn't even realize that it was actually going on. And in 2023, I was approached that I should apply for the FBI Citizens Academy. And what that is it's a 9-week course. They select roughly 30 business people in the community to let them go through the course to see exactly what the FBI does. So, I don't want to share everything, because if you're going to go into that class, I want you to experience it, but you're going to see what they can, speak about what the FBI does. I mean, it'll blow your mind, from domestic terrorism, elder fraud, to general fraud, to a little bit of everything, honestly. And some of it's just gut wrenching. That you'll see some things, that cases that's already been, charged, and they can unclassified, I guess, and they can speak about. But it's pretty cool because, in my class in 2023 through the 9 weeks, there was several local people, bank presidents, car dealership people, just a whole host of different people. The mayor of Eureka, Eric is in his 30s, an entrepreneur, and got to know him, and we still stay close. So you go through 9 weeks of that, and you get the fun part of it is before graduation, you get to go to the shooting range, and you get to have range day.
Hey, there you go.
You're going to shoot, and you're going to shoot, and you're going to shoot. But you're always by the side of an agent, so it's always safe. And in a graduation, they make it a big thing. You'll have potentially somebody from Washington that will come and speak to your class. I think it's an honor and it's a privilege that you get selected, because once again, I didn't even know it existed. Yeah. Then I find out Springfield Police, they have it, which is funny. I was selected this year to attend it. I had to decline because I just couldn't make it. I was sad, but Secret Service does it, DEA does it. So it's just a neat thing. So, the nonprofit board that I serve on with that is not affiliated with the FBI. We are all class members, alumni. And so what we try to do is we find ways to fundraise to help. So if they have a teen academy, because the FBI can only do certain things. So a teen academy, they bring kids in, then we can feed the kids. So we're out, we're doing things in the community. We'll do some national night out. We'll attend a lot of those things. We'll do some fundraising. We're going to look at doing a trivia night here coming up sometime next year to benefit our group. But yeah, it's made up of really solid business people. It's been a fun one. I'm secretary of that board. I think that one just once you go through the Citizens Academy, it just like, wow. I mean, if I was 20, actually, in my case, 30 years younger, I would have became an FBI agent.
Sure.
Because, you've got a certain age. I think it's 52 or something, 20 years plus, whatever it is.
Right.
And you're out, but I'm too old for that now. But it's just funny when you step in that building, what it does to you. It's like, man, if I could just turn back time, right? I don't want to, but if I could have. But I think for what they do in our community, they do a lot. They really do. And I think they're trying to get that message out more, that they're there. Most people don't know let's say if you have a family member that maybe was potentially fraud through the elderly, they could get involved. I can't say they can, but you can contact them. And I think a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, they have no idea.
So the idea of going through the academy for the Citizens Academy is to make you more aware and in a sense that you can speak on the behalf of just so understand that, hey, you're having a problem. Well, wait a minute, your grandparents, something happens. Maybe somebody took money from them. Well, you do have another option. So, and that's really just, it's like we're a voice in the community to say, hey, they do a lot of good. There's a lot of tenure there. Yeah. I think that blew my mind, 15, 20, 25 years. Mm-hmm. And even on the civilian position side. But so as you can see, I get a little giddy about it. We just had.
Tell you're passionate about it.
Yeah, we just had coffee with an agent this morning. So we were able to hear from a female agent this morning, and that's part of being alumni. We get some inside source, and
sure.
we just kind of hear their story. And what really blows your mind, you're talking to their attorneys or airline pilots or airline attorneys or accountants. They come from a little bit of everything, mm-hmm. and some of them are multiple degree, double masters, and so it's just cool to really know it. Yeah, it's not so like the TV show. I will say that.
Right.
We were talking about that today. It is not like FBI is not like what's on TV.
Yeah. No, very cool though.
Yeah, it is.
So I got to ask, and I don't know if you can tell me or not, but on range day, what'd you shoot? What type of firearm did you shoot?
Well, we shot the old Tommy gun. That scared the bejesus out of me. Because I wasn't ready for that, and I think it's da-da-da-da-da, but it was in the air. It wasn't at the target, and it was cold that day. I will say our range day, it was almost snowing, wind blowing. It's in an undisclosed location.
Sure.
And it was wet, rainy. We wore jackets, and we froze our tails off. We shot 9mm. We shot some ARs and a little bit of everything. Now, some didn't want to shoot them all, but, you were chattering when you're out there shooting. But that was pretty cool.
I bet it was.
So I got to be an alumni. I got to go to range day last year. Actually, I helped cook. So, but we at range day last year, we didn't get to shoot, but we got to see it all again. So last year we got to see a little bit of, I don't know what you call it, pyro. I mean, they were blowing things up.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it'll be exciting. I think this year I'll be involved with range day as well. We're, a matter of fact, a few of us alumni are bringing food in tomorrow night for the class. So they'll have a little bit of Big Boy's Backyard Barbecue.
Hey, there we go. Big Boy's Backyard Barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that's Jeff Souther's business.
Yeah, it's one that I don't publicize a lot. I enjoy doing it. For me, it's, even though Jeff doesn't really have a time for himself, it really is a time for me to just relax a little bit and, just have me time. I'm wired totally different. I don't really take enough time for myself, but when I'm in my cooking element, there's nothing you can say or do. Mm-hmm. I mean that, you'll see my pictures, I enjoy it. And then when you do something for someone and you deliver it to them and you can just see the smile on their face and the joy it brings to them. It just is satisfaction, but I enjoy doing that. I always say it's probably, if I ever retire, that's probably something I would do. Lord knows I have enough smokers. So, and I'm still learning every day. There's good people out there in the community that always gives me good pointers, but yeah.
What's your number one thing to smoke that you absolutely love?
Right now it would be pork belly. If you would ask me that about 2 months ago, it would have been brisket. I still enjoy brisket, but I'll tell you what, I've got pork belly knocked out of the park.
Okay.
It takes a special person because it's a little fatty,
Yeah, it is.
but smoked on just 100% pecan wood or apple or hickory. It's good. I think you've heard me talk to you about that before, but probably pork belly. I think it's best for someone to throw on a taco and throw some lettuce over it, and and don't worry about the fat. But it's a knockout.
No doubt,
it really is.
Are you primarily private parties, private gatherings right now?
Pretty much private. Yeah, private. I don't want to get too crazy out there.
Right.
I think Envoy Jeff Eddy knows all about it because I was gracious, I guess, blessed to be able to do him and Heidi's wedding. So
awesome.
So we did that, and that was challenge. I was never worried about the challenge. It was big for me, So, but we were able to take care of Jeff and Heidi. Corey helped out a lot. Corey being involved with Salvation Army. Corey's a good friend and
from Agility.
Yeah, from Agility and the board chair for Salvation Army, as well as Lee and a longtime employee friend and Rick and another employee or another friend. We had fun. We really did. I will not be doing another wedding.
Right. So don't reach out for weddings.
That's just too much. That's just too much, right? I mean, matter of fact, you even reached out to me to help you with an event. It's like, I could do it, but it's hard during the weekday because, it's not that I not only at Masco, I'm servicing Masco because that's number one, but there might be 90 other things I'm doing too as well that I'm, trying to get, keep going. And as we talk about Land Lincoln Professional Networking, my gosh, I never in my life would think it would be where it is today. And, once again, I need to say thank you to you.
Absolutely.
For setting up the structure of it, my website and all of that and good things to come there.
No doubt about it. And we're just shy of 1.5 million on the tracker.
Yeah, it's interesting because I ran into somebody at breakfast. Actually, Corey and I were at breakfast just the other day, and a longtime friend said, "How much fluff is in that number?" I'm like, minimal.
Yeah.
Right? Minimal. Oh, well, how do you know that? I said, well, I'm pretty confident because I'm not reporting the numbers, right? Our members are. I would tell you that there's not enough fluff in that number because I guarantee you it's more than that because in conversation at Local First that night, our event at Local First at Jane Hay that we had, they were come up reporting numbers to me then. Hey, how do I get on that website and do it? Here's the number. Here's the number. So I was texting myself, the numbers, but I think it's generated a lot more. And I think the cool thing is one of the very few networking groups that strictly just want 100% networking that is keeping track of it.
No bad.
So, thank you to our members. It's just not all about me. It was created and the members are making it happen. And you can see the mover and shakers in that group.
Let's go. So we've got one other event we're going to talk on briefly. We just announced through Local First Springfield this week. We're always in our board meetings and our committee meetings. We're always trying to figure out ways to add more value for our members, for the membership that they purchase for the year. And one of those ideas that came to fruition is a holiday market on November 22nd. Again, out at Pole Barn Chic. We've been out there a lot here recently.
Thank you, Audrey and Nick.
Yeah,
Thank you, Audrey and Nick.
No doubt about it.
How did we do that? In a single meeting, we just created.
Ding, ding, ding. That's that 10X action, brother.
That's
just
right.
Let's go.
We got some skill at that table.
Yeah, we've got some heavy hitters at the table. And when we make a decision, we've got a lot of people that are ready to implement it right now. And let's go and let's get after it. And that's what we did. So that's going to be a completely free event for members. So if you are a current member of Local First Springfield, you can get your booth completely free of charge. Now, if you do need electrical, there is a $25 charge for that. But if you don't need electrical, it is completely free. And for you folks out there that aren't members, maybe you want to participate, you can certainly participate. Just become a member first, and that'll cost you $175 as a Local First Springfield business member. So that's all you would have to do. Become a member, and then you can get yourself a booth as well. But I'm really excited about this. It'll be
Boy, I am too. And I think you probably already know someone else had already signed up through another group I'm involved with. And I'm just thinking about Envoy Eddy. This would be good for Envoy Eddy too, just for the fact is that with the Christmas season coming, it's very important to them. So what a great location, a great space to do that at. So Jeff, if you're listening, I think you are. Sign up, baby. Sign up.
I think we can get Envoy Eddy in there, right?
We can do it.
We can make that happen. Absolutely.
I'm sure he's watching us somewhere, right?
Somewhere.
I'm sure he is. But no, I think the concept of that is is really cool. And once again, thanks to Pole Barn just for being a team player. Audrey and your husband Nick are just totally awesome. Great venue, great location. Somebody says Santa's coming too.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
So
right?
yeah, and Mrs. Claus maybe.
I think,
and
so.
maybe an elf.
That's right.
I kind of heard that too.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if that's confirmed.
It is not, because I haven't been home to talk to her about it today. I talked to the committee today, and yes, that is the plan. But I got to confirm with. And for those of you out there, my daughter, I've talked about it on the show before. She loves dressing up as characters, so I believe she might be an elf or something in there. I just got to confirm it with her, but I know it's going to be a yes.
If she's listening, just say yes, right?
That's right.
But no, I think that'll be really, really cool. And once again, it's just that supporting that local initiative, whether you're a boutique or really whatever you have to sell retail wise. I think you can even think outside the box. We hear, Chad was saying in tree service. Shout out to Chad, right? Thinking outside the box, and how could he be involved?
Yeah.
He could be involved somehow, some way.
Yeah,
but
you could still get exposure. Even if you're not selling something on the floor there, you're still getting exposure. You can come up with maybe a little kid's craft or something. I don't know. There's a lot of different things you can do to become involved. So we want to pack the house. So if you're a local First Springfield member out there, go ahead and go out to the website. You can go to localfirstspringfield.com/holiday market. Or go to the homepage and find it at the top and reserve your booth. And if you're not a member, go ahead and just become a member. How about that, right?
It's a cheap way to do it too. When you look at $175, you're not going to pay that if you're going to another venue.
Right.
I mean, you're going to be at $300, $400, $500. So, and the added benefit of being a local First member. So,
no doubt about it. Yeah, we'll have food, fun, festivities, Santa, local merchants for you to purchase your holiday gifts from. Let's go.
Let's do it.
And maybe we can figure out how to get some kind of online kettle or something to where we can put there, right? Something.
I think we can do that.
Figure
You know what?
something
We
out,
can
right?
probably have a bell ringer outside.
I was just thinking about that, but Jeff said it has to be after Thanksgiving, and we're the weekend before Thanksgiving. Think he might let that slide? I don't know.
If he's listening, Envoy, I think this would be a good location because maybe we can make some member competition with this.
I think so. Yeah.
We're 9 to 2. Maybe whoever brings in the most money in an hour. Do hour increments, and we could challenge one another.
I like that.
You
Yeah,
know?
I think we can figure that out.
Maybe we can get Corey out there too with agility. What do you think?
I think we can get him. Yeah, he'll
challenge on.
I mean, that's what board presidents have to do, right?
That's
They gotta
right.
Go the extra mile and just go.
That's
get
right.
it. So,
But yeah, I think that would be a good location to have a bell ringer there. It's a giving time. I mean, I was ringing the bell last year, and I always forget the mansion. It's a shame on me.
Brinkerhoff.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Brinkerhoff. And that was a fun experience and a lot of interaction. I'm sure Envoy has mentioned that people are giving during the Christmas season. And that for me was a real eye opener. It was fun. I was a little cold, but it was fun. I think good old Jack Geyser followed me up. He might have been a little late, but Jack followed me up, and I had a fun time doing that. So we can make a lot of fun with that. And we should open up a challenge local for Springfield, maybe against Land of Lincoln, and let's have a competition bell ringing this year. Let's do it.
I think we could do that. We could do some fun promos with that. Me and you with like putting up the Dukes like we're boxing or something out for that. It'd be kind of fun.
I mean, you're in a little better shape than I am, but
hey, we'll still have some fun with it.
Yeah, we could.
Well, Jeff, always a pleasure. All these cool events coming up. So we've got the FBI event with Land of Lincoln Professional Networking and Local First Springfield on October 15th. We've got the Holiday Market on November 22nd. We've got all the great stuff we talked about with Salvation Army. And, man, embarrassment of riches here in Springfield, Jeff.
Say that every week, and it's so true.
True. Well, appreciate you coming by as always.
Likewise.
All right. Well, we're going to let this Jeff and all the Jeffs get back to elevating Springfield. But for the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Big Dog, if you're doing some remodeling or redesign and build, come and see our showroom. No one does it like we will. Call Big Dog. Big Dog. Let us do it once, and then you're going to see. You'll want to be a part of the Big Dog family. Call Big Dog. Big Dog. If you want the job done and you want it done right, call 8332 Big Dog.
Your local Window Depot USA.
Big Dog.
Thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hey, while you're out on your socials, check ours out. Go over to @RobertFerriell @everywhere. That's my personal pages. Or head over to the Elevate Springfield pages as well. Give us a like. Head over to YouTube. Check out my channel there @RobertFerriell. all the clips from the show in one convenient location. While you're there, give us a subscribe. We would certainly appreciate it. Thank you to both Jeffs for spending some time with us today. That's Envoy Jeff Eddy from the Salvation Army and Jeff Dillman from Land of Lincoln Professional Networking and Masco. A lot of great stuff today. So take what you learned today. You bring the discipline and follow through. And together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great.